Okay, welcome back to Reverend Sam in the Church of the Spinning Wheel. And I realize that I haven't done any sort of technical stuff on the channel in a while. So, right now, I'm going to do a little bit of oxy-fuel welding, gas welding. So, the reason that I am gas welding this fender is I normally would TIG it, but I'm out of argon and I'm in a hurry. So, this is something I haven't done in a really long time, but gas welding is pretty fucking simple. It's not as strong as TIGging or MIGging or certainly not stick welding, but it will get the job done, and I'm planning to reinforce this fender anyway. So, first trick is getting your flame dialed in. I don't want a super hot flame for this because it's really thin steel, but basically gonna heat ahead a little bit, and then right about the time you start heating your rod up a little bit, right about the time that the metal is going to fail and burn through, you blend a little bit of this mild steel rod into it. And kind of go back and forth because that heat's going to spread bad. So it's just kind of a light touch thing. Being very careful not to blast through, and I will before it's all said and done. I'll end up burning through this fender. And there's going to be some warpage because I can't really control the heat as well as I could with TIG. But I got a whole bunch of grinding and shit to do on this thing anyway, so I'm not that concerned with it. It's kind of like TIG welding with, the stick dip, but it's definitely not as accurate. There's a lot less control involved than with TIGging. But it gets the job done. So you want to move around a lot because you don't want to completely warp the steel to the point that it's unusable. And you don't want to fucking burn a big ass hole through it, because that turns into a pain in the ass, because then you got to fill it. This isn't really a tutorial. I'm not really telling you exactly how to do it. It's more just a practiced technique, and I am out of practice for said technique. Let's see, am I back in the frame? Alright. But you can do this on thin metals. And it's a good skill to have if you're wanting to learn how to TIG. You should probably learn how to do this first. It's basically the same concept. or it really is just the same concept. It's just you're using oxygen and acetylene instead of tungsten, electricity, and shielding gas. So now this won't be fluxed. You know, this metal won't be fluxed, so it's not going to be, like I said, as strong as some of the other welding applications, but if I end up using this fender, I'm going to be reinforcing it anyway, so it won't really matter. Just back and forth, back and forth. I got a lot of pollutants in this fender because I didn't get it sandblasted or anything. So there's lots of paint and garbage and you name it. But you just want to make sure you penetrate. You got to make sure that the metal becomes molten all the way through, or you're not really welding, you're gluing. And we don't want to glue this fender together. We want to weld it together. Color of your molten steel is really, really important when you're welding, especially in something like this. Knowing exactly where the steel is going to give up, at what color. Alright, glasses off. Got some pinholes and stuff, but, and as you can see here, where it's punched through, that seam is welded. So let's work on the other one. So yeah, I blew a hole right through there earlier when right before I decided to make this video. So now I gotta correct it. Which just means being really, really gentle with your heat on your molten steel. And that's disappeared. You probably can't even see it though in the camera because I'm facing the wrong direction. You'll have to take my word for it. Let's see if you can see the gap here that I'm dealing with. I didn't cut this fender myself. Somebody else did, and they did kind of a horrible job. Of course, they weren't planning on it being put back together, I'm sure. And honestly, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it putting it back together myself. I might be widening this fender and then putting it on my Softail because I'm about to sell the Softail. Hopefully I'm going to sell the Softail because I really need to sell the Softail. Alright, let's have a look here. Alright, that is all gas welded. Oh, it's not going to snap off. It's one whole, oh, god damn it. It's one whole fender. This fucking camera is really starting to piss me off. So it's all back together. One whole fender again. I got some grinding to do. I'll probably put a pass on the inside. But for all intents and purposes, it is all welded together with oxyacetylene. Alright, so this has been another episode of Reverend Sam and the Church of the Spinning Wheel. A technical episode. And everybody have a fantastic week.